It is the Hypertech Voices of Industry. My name is Clarence Barnes. We're here at the Central Hall at SEMA. As every year, we're set up in the same place. This year, Hypertech decided they wanted to get people from all walks of life who come to SEMA to talk about how their year's going. We came through a tough couple of years and what we expect to go in, where we'll be in 2023. To talk about the people, because as a business, we succeed in a community of people who love motorsports, who love cars, trucks, off-road, you name it. It all goes down here at SEMA. Today's no exception. Greg Adler from Off-Road Warehouse talking about, speaking of off-road, if you guys like racing, this is the guy, all you guys at Arizona State who are just getting through college, stay in school, pay attention. This is what can happen for you. I should have stayed in school. Just thinking about that. I mean, what you guys have done over the years, it started four-wheel parts, and then you moved to Off-Road Warehouse. You're like the guy now at Off-Road Warehouse, right?
Yeah, so...
How does it go down? He's like, let me just rewind this whole
this
thing.
Might take longer than 15 minutes to explain, but no, four-wheel parts was a family business. My grandfather started it. My dad was the first full-time employee. He really built it, and after I graduated Arizona State University with a degree in drinking, I went into...
He's honest. This guy is honest.
Yeah, it's the Harvard of the West.
Yeah.
But had a great time, great experience, and learned a few things, and got involved in the business and was part of that four-wheel parts business growing a bunch and building on the platform. And you mentioned people. One of the things that I learned from my dad early on is that you got to have great people, surround yourself with great people. So we were able to do that, build a great culture there in that business, kept it growing, a lot of fun. I love the industry, and I grew up just into trucks because here's, this business we have, building all these, great vehicles all the time, selling all these cool parts. So, you probably can't see on radio, but I'm not the tallest guy, so I wasn't going to play basketball or do something else. So I figured I better learn to race, and that was where I got my competitive juices flowing. Was doing behind the wheel of a race car or truck out in the dirt. So, so we had a really good run at four-wheel parts. My dad sold the business in 2005, and I stayed on and ran it as the CEO. And it was the early days of kind of private equity in the industry, really, and so we had financial partners, and we had a really good run, kept the business growing. My dad was happily retired. The family was in a good spot. He took care of me, but we were able to keep the business growing. And then 2016, we sold the business to Polaris, and so that was what I thought was going to be a great thing for the company. It didn't turn out that way, unfortunately, but that happens in these private equity deals, and these big business buys a small business, F's it all up, and that's kind of sadly what happened there. But as all that was going on, I transitioned out, and I'm like, man, first of all, I still, even though I'm old, I don't feel like I'm that old, and I love the industry. A lot of the people that had helped build four-wheel parts and create this great culture and this great business had left as well, and we're on the sidelines. So it was an opportunity to reconnect with some of those guys, put kind of the band back together somewhat at Off-Road Warehouse, and stay involved in the industry. And most importantly, I still had a bunch of race trucks, and they're an expensive hobby, so I need to buy a company so I could have a sponsor, essentially. So
you can tell
here we go.
Everybody knows who knows you is that you're a racer. And one of the things that I always pick out about racers, so the guys, I'm just some old guy in the corner. Don't worry about me. You don't want him coming up behind you in a pro truck or anything like that. It's the one thing I noticed. I just met with a bunch of guys from your company down at the Off-Road Fest in Orange County. We were down at Orange County Fairgrounds.
Okay, Sand Sport Show?
Yeah, Sand Sport Super Show. Yeah, that's what it was. We were down there, and there's something, it's kind of like a DNA that I noticed from years and years ago growing up with four-wheel parts. It seems like you brought that whole team spirit. There's definitely like team building with people. There seems to be an emphasis on people and team members in your company. I don't know, it's just something I picked up on that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something I learned early on, again, from my dad and the culture that was built. And the business, it's all about people. I mean, we we can have parts on a wall or in a showroom or whatever, but we don't have the right guys in our stores taking care of those customers, then it's going to fail. And so we got to have those guys. We got to inspire those guys, give them all the tools to be successful, and reward them not just financially, but by being there and patting them on the back and giving them a kick in the ass every now and then too. But it's a competitive business, and or business is competitive, right? So it's whether you're on a racetrack racing somebody and trying to get that guy, or you're competing in business trying to win, and you can't do that without great people. So
interesting you say that. I'm just curious, were you a racer before you were a CEO, or did that both come at the same time?
I was a beginning racer, out of college, and I knew that it wasn't something where I was going to have, if I wanted to do it, I need to have enough money to go do it. And so, I had help along the way. It wasn't everything, but so my racing career kind of went along with my business career, in that I was starting to make enough money to afford to go racing, and it was something that now I was able to start to pull in a few sponsors to help this thing grow. And
the reason I bring that up is because I do feel continuity. Like, there's real race teams who I think are successful. When you get a 10,000-foot view of race teams in general, the drivers who I think are real successful tend to recognize they're the last guys to leave the shop that night, and they're working with their people who got their back on the track, and they have real relationships. And that's, I know it sounds kind of weird. But I noticed that. I noticed that with Four Wheel Parts a long time ago when I moved to California. I was trying to engineer a 4-inch lift kit in a Toyota 4Runner. And the guys, I think it was the place down by the airport, the closest Four Wheel Parts place by LAX.
The Redondo Beach store,
right.
Yeah.
I was down there. And I went in there to get some Rancho stuff or whatever. And the guys really gave me a leg up on, here's what you got to watch out for. Here's what you don't want to do. Here's how you're going to put this in. They could have tried to push me to install it, and a lot of salespeople try to jump you and think, oh yeah, I'm going to get this guy, put a square peg, round hole, whatever. They were really nice, and I felt like I was engaging with a team. And this was back in 2000 something, right? Way before you guys sold. And I noticed, that's what I noticed when I was at the Sand Sport Super Show, just talking to some of the guys I met down there from your company. Seems like you have that same sort of race team mentality where everybody's working together. I don't feel like anybody's chest out.
Yeah, I mean, it's your vehicle's your passion, right? And so our guys get that, and we try to share the best experience we can. Try to not just to sell you, let's say, the most expensive kit, because for a 4Runner, for a Tacoma, for a F-150, you can spend $200 for a leveling kit, or you can spend $2,500 for a high-end, super high-performance suspension system. So what are you looking to do with the vehicle? Really try to understand what the use is going to be, and then provide those options. And it's not easy to know all of those things for our sales guys, but that's what makes the difference. I think is that they're going to try to educate the customer and steer them in the right way, and keep them happy and keep them coming back, and that relationship is huge. And that's something we actually learned over time, is that, you walk into a store and create a relationship with Greg more than ORW. It is ORW, but your connection with Greg as a salesman who's going to help you get you the right stuff and what you need next time, you're going to just call Greg. So, yes, internet's huge and e-com and people are buying and clicking, but having the knowledge to help get you the right parts the first time and what's next, with that relationship, again, coming back to the people that they build that and create that, you're going to come back to see Greg next time for your truck versus going to click on Amazon and hoping to find the right thing and getting it to your door.
You get what you pay for, and you get a relationship will last a lifetime, not just a click.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a reflection of why you've been so successful at Four Wheel Parts, and now with ORW. You guys are growing. You guys are growing pretty fast. 2013 looks like it's going to be, 2013. 2023 looks like it's going to be a big year for you guys.
Yeah, so we, for us, coming from a business we ran with got up to 100 stores,
right,
and we had wholesale and manufacturing. We, ORW, when I bought it, had 4 stores. next year we'll celebrate 50 years in business for Off-Road Warehouse. So it's been around a long time, but it's been a little quiet and mostly San Diego based. So we've doubled the store count so far. We have Phoenix, we have a beautiful store here in Vegas, Corona, and one all the way out in Atlanta, Georgia. So we're going to open up one in Reno in January. We want to fill out Southern California some more because it's huge, and really the state of California is a great mecca for off-road and trucks and Jeeps, and even though everything, a lot of negative about California.
I'm just saying, I know, listen, you might as well build some near tracks and things like that within driving distance of off-road tracks and things. I mean, because I think for you to be an accomplished CEO and director of a brand, you need to be able to take this stuff out on the track. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. I like that. And my guys will tell you I also got my pilot's license in between jobs. So we tend to have stores near little airports where I can fly my little Cirrus airplane in and go see the guys. But yeah, it's fun, and we know what to do, and obviously we try to be smart and grow it in a smart way. And that 4-wheel parts business was built over a long time, and there's still some great guys in those stores, and we like those guys, and we compete with them, and we want to win, but we do it in a good manner, and we're going to grow this thing as we go and have some fun doing it.
Well, it's going to be a great year. Talking about voice of the industry, Greg Adler. Yeah, I'm excited to see what's happening, and ORW is going to have a killer 2023. I know that. This is the voice of industry, people from all walks of life in the industry talking about what's happening now and what they expect in the near future. We're live at the Hypertech booth in the Central Hall at SEMA 2022.